Good morning, Scorpio. Welcome back to Path of Enlightenment Tarot. For those of you returning to the channel, welcome back. For those of you who are new, welcome. I am Nicole. I'm laughing because as I started to talk, I heard the cat hissing at the other cat. So there we are, like old and grumpy, and he hates the fact that the other two are young and full of life this morning. So there's that. Maybe someone's hissing at you or you're hissing at somebody as Monday begins. So welcome to Monday, guys. I hope you're doing well. I hope you had a great weekend. This is going to be your weekly read. What is today? The 20th. New moon is tomorrow. So the 20th through about, the 27th or so. We'll see what's going on Monday through Friday. More importantly, remember these energies. While I do it per the day, your life is very different than everybody else's. So take it where it fits for you for this week. But it is an overall energy and potential things that could be coming up for you this week. Okay, so this is Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and North Node positions. Okay, thank you, Spirit. So we'll leave it at that. Thank you to everybody who's liked, shared, subscribed, commented, booked personal reads, made donations, hit the hype button. I always forget that thing exists now. Yeah, personal reads are open and available. If you're interested, that email is in the description box below, as well as the about section of the page. Channel memberships are also open, and that is where you're going to find probably the new moon. They'll have a new moon reading. I may do a live. We'll see what happens. This week's a little crazy. So Scorpio, though, happy early birthday to you, right? We are moving into your season as of the 23rd of this month. So we are just a few short days from your season. So happy early birthday to all of you. And if you're a Libra, cross watcher, or you have Libra placements, that is your sun, happy birthday to you guys as well too. So all right, Scorpio, let's get down to an overall energy here. We'll get the days of the week, see what's going on, man. I went back last night and I was listening to a little bit of the weekend read. Apparently it pertained to me and I didn't see it coming either. So there's that. So you may be able to kind of take a step back and look at some things and go, wow, that was there. So if you haven't checked out last week's read or weekend read, you might want to check that out. Scorpio, on the split here, destiny, alchemy, Spirit is rearranging parts of your life this week that are fated. They're fated meetings, fated events. For some of you, these may close out cycles. For others of you, this is opening new ones, right? We always are closing and opening different cycles in our lives. But Spirit's also saying the meeting of the mind, so you and someone could be getting on the same page this week. Spirit, which would be splendid. Splendid. Oh, God. Okay, anyhow, I'll leave that there. All right, Spirit, for Scorpio this week, what's the overall energy for Scorpio? The 20th through the 27th, Spirit, for the Scorpio collective. They're giving me strict instructions. Oracle, wisdom. Underlying that affirmation, wishbone, Scorpio, make sure you're talking your I could talk, period. Make sure you're talking your manifestations into reality. Spirit's also saying into abundance. 333 on the clock, that is answered prayers to me. That's the way I've always viewed that number for whatever reason. I don't even know where that became a thing for me, but it was. So when I see that, answered prayers, your affirmations, God's been listening, the universe has been listening, Spirit's been listening. The turkey, the wishbone of the turkey, right? And before we know it, I know Canada just celebrated Thanksgiving, and happy belated Thanksgiving to you all of here in Canada. I'm not real great with the holidays outside of the US, so my apologies. But Scorpio too, if you're in the US, turkey season is a-coming, right? So happy early Thanksgiving to all of you in that regard. But this is, I'm kind of seeing this too as like tweezers, which is odd. But it's also picking things apart, right? We think about what you use tweezers for. It's to pick or to, break something loose, or, ladies doing your eyebrows, maybe you're doing some cosmetic stuff as well, kind of just, maybe men too, right? Like we're all kind of taking care of ourselves in some degree, which would be fantastic. Clouds, mystical. It's kind of like, the way that it comes in, Spirit, okay, the way that it comes in might catch you off guard, Scorpio. As much as you are very in tune with what is going on around you, You've got a lot of wisdom, right? You've got a lot of knowing. You've lived a lot of things. You've done a lot of things. You've been through a lot of things. From those perspectives, you've become adaptable. You've become adjustable to things. You've opened yourself up to viewing the world differently. You've gained a lot of knowledge as a result of that. But the wisdom that you carry could run generations upon generations very deep. But it's giving me this forgotten, hold on. It's almost like a forgotten part of you, Scorpio. That's interesting to me. Also the brain. Like there could be really good flow. This is insane, right? I'm no doctor, right? Talk to your medical professionals. But the brain, it's almost like everything is like, it's like a clearing, Scorpio. It's like thought processes could be coming easier. You may not have brain fog if you've dealt with that. It's almost like everything is working and functioning in perfect flow with one another. And it's from top to bottom. I got the chills, Scorpio. Top to bottom, like your brain health could be improving, memory could be improving, cognizance could be improving. Like it's almost like you just kind of woke up from a slumber. It's a very calm energy, and it's almost like it feels so good, you feel so good that it almost doesn't feel right in certain ways. This could just be within yourself, your body. You could have had aches and pains for a while, and you're just like, gee, I feel really good. Some of you could be doing some therapies that help to like, you think about like crossword puzzles and things like that as well. Like it's for our brain health, right? Ginkgo biloba is good for brain health, right? All of those things. It's almost like the brain is just finally firing on all cylinders perfectly. It's like the mechanisms of the motor or your engine in your car, your motor in your car, like everything when it's running perfectly and smoothly, like it's a perfect chimed flow. Chimed is important, Spirit is saying. It's just the perfect flow of everything you need it to be. And it's like, once that starts to function right, like they always say, like if your head or your belly, like you get a headache or your belly's upset, like everything else about your body is going to be off. So it's kind of like, if you've been dealing with those things, there's so much here, Scorpio. Wisdom twice now. Wisdom is so important. I don't know. You're so much smarter than you give yourself credit for. It's like you knew. I just keep hearing you knew. Interesting energy, Scorpio. Very interesting. But it's almost like bringing back a forgotten part of yourself is also what I'm hearing, which I think is interesting. Spirit, grab a Akashic card, and then we're going to get down to the days of the week. I don't know. Interesting energy. Purples, indigos, third eye could be really, really opening up this week, Scorpio, and it's your season, right? It's your season. That's important. Like it's just the purples, the indigos. That's third eye in the crown. Choice of calling. You feel torn between two paths, unsure which is true. Your soul is whispering one path will align more deeply with who you are becoming. Trust the quieter voice within. As I'm reading that, Spirit is telling me that was the past, which I think is interesting because usually that's a card that comes out, these cards, the way I do them anyhow, is for the now. But Spirit is like, I mean, you may have some big decisions this week, Scorpio, you have to make, diverging roads. You're evolving, Scorpio, this week. There's something about evolving. The moon cycle itself could be important. So the next 2 weeks specifically, you could have been paying attention to like watching, like I say, watching the moon over the last 2 weeks as well. The letter C, that's twice, or that's 3 times now. Hold on. I kept looking at this one card and I kept getting the wisdom card. I kept getting the letter C there. And then the choice of calling. So you've got 3 C's. I know we've talked about that before. What else? Like what's to come this week for Scorpio, Spirit? What is to come this week? Soul contracts. You could be signing soul contracts. You could be contract negotiating. You could be, whatever you're doing, whether this is physically signing a contract or you are soul contract, things of that nature, metaphorically or physically speaking, verbally even. Scorpio, you're really Spirit's saying condensing what contracts are worth your time, energy, and effort. Spirit's also talking about, they call them mudras, right? The different hand poses for different things. As I'm sitting here like this, like Spirit brought that to my attention. I don't even know what that means, but there you go. I'm sure there's something there. But whatever you're working on contractually, this could be with family. This could be with, I don't know, your baby daddy. This could be with your neighbor. This could be with lawyers. Like you've got decisions to make as to who you're going to bring along. Choice, calling, contract, 3 C's. Reclamation at the bottom. You are reclaiming lost pieces of yourself. I said it's like you're bringing back a piece of yourself, right? You're bringing back parts of yourself. Memories, gifts, and power once buried are resurfacing. Welcome them back into your being with love and pride. And soul contract says you feel the pull of something you agreed to long before this lifetime. Your soul remembers what your mind forgets. Honor your sacred contract by taking the first conscious steps. Scorpio, you've got something here that's really going to expansion. Falls out of the deck. You've got something pretty big coming in for you, or a choice of calling, you know, whatever you want to call it, a contract. Maybe it's all 3 rolled into one somehow, but it's going to lead you right to where you need to be here, Scorpio. Tons and tons of indigo and purple here. All right, Spirit. So for the days of the week, let's get down to business here, Scorps. Run away and letting go. You could have left a situation a long time ago, Scorpio. And I know we talk about that a lot, but there's lots of things that we leave behind. But I do feel like you're finally feeling a bit freer from a particular situation, and Spirit's saying the antics of other people as well. So on Monday, Spirit, for today, addiction, all right? Underlying that photography, so the past, memories, independence there, Scorpio, you're moving, I'm going to take that one too. You're moving away from that past, and Libra season is all about fairness and balance. It doesn't mean that everything is going to be restored in that time frame, but that's what Libra leans to, is what is fair and what is balanced. And I feel like you're kind of staring something or someone in the face down and going, that's an old story. That's an old version. That's an old way that used to be, and it no longer works. So whatever part of that is, this could be the way you maintain money. This could be the way that you deal with other people. This could be someone's dealings with you. Just again, the version, Spirit is emphasizing this once again for you, the versions of you that exist in other people's minds and who they expect you to still be. They could be getting, excuse me, a hard reality check this week about that's not you anymore. They don't know really, again, they don't know what to do with that, Scorpio. On Tuesday, unfinished business. Scorpio, I feel like this week you're planning on, after maybe taking a period of rest, you could be tying up a lot of loose ends this week again. There seems to be, like, you think about it, if you have steps to processes that you have to do, right? It's like, I don't know, let's say you're applying for a mortgage. You got to send them the first set of paperwork, right? Like signing for a mortgage is like signing your life away. But there's steps. So it's like something is, excuse me, you're revisiting something from the past, buttoning it up, cleaning it up, taking care of things that have maybe gone back and forth for some time. So that could very well be on Tuesday or someday this week. Wednesday, Spirit for Scorpio, run away. Some of you could just be trying to get out of, you know, the office or Rose. Yeah, it's kind of like you need a break from something, needing a reprieve, taking some time for yourself. It's like sometimes we just have to kind of check out. So by Wednesday, you could be needing a break. Scorpio, Spirit is saying don't give up though. Whatever, there is something that's pressing your buttons or trying for you. They don't want you to give up on what you've worked towards. On Thursday, I'm watching the dog. She's got a stick. Okay. Thursday, the law, Scorpio. The law. Lawyer, judge, police, underlying that, torment, sacrifice. I'm going to clarify that before I go too far into it. But I feel like, ooh, Scorpio. I will say on Thursday, if you're dealing with anything legal, which Thursday is 20, 21, that's where Libra switches over to Scorpio. That's the 23rd. Somebody, Scorpio, I don't think it's you. I don't think it's you. If they were hoping to make some kind of amends with you in Libra season, or at any point prior to now, there's, again, that reality check that I was briefly talking about. You don't get to come back from that. I will say, for maybe one person out there, the one thing I am getting is there could be some type of competency hearing. It's very random. About someone's ability to take care of themselves as well. Or there could be questions around what appropriate channels need to be utilized to ensure that someone can take care of themselves. Again, Scorpio, I don't feel like this is you. Some of you could be making sacrifices to take care of a loved one or something like that around that. But I don't feel like you are in, I mean, it's Spirit saying harm's way in any way. I feel like you are just also, you know, talking about this wisdom. You know, some of you could be doctors, lawyers, you know, whatever your job might be that requires giving advice or something like that. You could be easing minds or helping others in some capacity, or knowing what your part in something is, which doesn't require, I don't want to say a lot of you, because you're putting an effort, so it's coming, something's coming from you clearly, but it's not to your detriment for a change, which is really nice. But I also just heard Lady Justice means business. Somebody also may be realizing if they have abused, and I think this came up recently, if they've abused the law in any sense, that they are, like when we talk about torment and bondage, it gives me the 8 of Swords, but it also gives me this feeling though that it's not something that is easily rectified. With the 8 of Swords, you think about it, it's like she's wrapped in like almost like tissue paper or something, right? 1717 on the clock. Again, the 17th of the month could have been important, or maybe even in November. Spirit's showing me actually December 17th, so just a heads up on that. That's a ways out, but the avenues in which they have tried, there's a reality here that those things are backfiring. You're free. You've made the sacrifices for yourself. I'm hearing wreaths of wonder and victory and success. That this person is now kind of bound by their own contracts. That your Spirit is saying that you are relinquishing that choice of calling. Going back to that, is you've already learned the lesson from that particular person or experience. This person is kind of like, some of them could be in jail, they could be imprisoned, some of them it's a mental imprisonment, some of it they got into something thinking that was going to be better than you or something like that, right? Only to find out that after some time, Spirit saying 22 months, almost 2 years ago, that it was kind of like they cut their own throat. Being vicious or coming towards you or trying to abuse things, what they felt was fair and just. Just because they feel that it's fair and just doesn't mean that it is. And I feel like in the past, that's what this person thought. Now they're realizing how much like it's bound them. You know, this is also, I'm going to pause for a second here, but on the days of the week, but you know, you think about spells and whatnot, right? There's binding spells, there's all these different things that you can do, and it's been kind of a repeating theme, so maybe it's just the season, right? Scorpio, Halloween and whatnot, where, you know, whatever you send out comes back. That's the thing that with Spirit is saying novices, people, I don't know, like I could tell you as an example, like for me, when I was going through some things, I was looked at like I was a crazy person because of the work that I do, right? So I'm like, okay, fine, I'll wear that label if that's what you want to lay claim to me as. People will sometimes dibble dabble in that stuff because they think they know, right? Or in this, whatever you want to call it, if they're not using it for the right reasons. There's a whole set of ethics that comes in with this work, right? It is to do no harm to others, no matter what position we hold in life. This person could have tried to do what you do in whatever form that is, whether it's just by personality, a job that you do, whatever it might be, only to realize, like, if you don't have the wisdom behind what you're doing, you probably should not be doing it. And now here comes the reality of what that looks like, okay? They've put some kind of negativity out there towards you, and now they're being bound by that same energy they sent out, right? It's if you've been sitting there, Scorpio, having days and you're like, return to sender, like, the postman is delivering, and the postman in this case is the divine. So heads up, like, Spirit just said, will you know? In time. Yes. Okay, so there's something about that, just a heads up. So on Friday, and we're going to clarify, but on Friday, Spirit for Scorpio, divine timing in the reverse, I am sorry. Somebody's missing the mark here, Scorpio. Internal regret and adjust. You know, somebody could be, I don't want to call this coming in with an apology necessarily. Could be, but it's kind of like too little too late. That ship has sailed. This is somebody who did not see your worth and value, realizing there's a whole lot to Scorpio. They're popular. Like, it makes me think of a meme or something that I've seen over the weekend, and it said something like, how was it? My number now that I am, how was it? Like, now that they were being seen, my number now that I'm doing well was the same as when I was down on my luck. And I didn't hear from you then, but now I do. Basically, you get my gist of that. I can't remember how it was worded. And I thought about that, and I thought that's an interesting way of putting it. Like, phone works both ways, but don't call me because you think I've got something to offer you, right? Like, I wasn't good enough when I was down on my luck, but now you need a favor. Now you're going to call, right? Like, again, nothing happening with me, but just the idea, right? Like, if we were to use you yourself, how many times have people not called until they've needed something? And, oh, well, since you're doing so well, Scorpio, hey, I'm down on my luck. Well, it's not so much vengeance, Scorpio, as it is Scorpio doesn't forget. We might forgive, but we do not forget. Memory, wisdom, the brain, bringing back parts of yourself, remembering the trials, the tribulations, the angst with other people. They might have forgotten. They might be hoping that, Scorpio, you're going to just sweep it under the rug from the past. And it's like, and your spirit is saying, your birthday season, there's a reason to reach out to you, right? There's a good excuse, or in their eyes, a good excuse to reach out to you. Are you going to take the bait? I don't think so. Okay, so a lot of information in this reading for you, Scorpio. Holy smokes. All right, let's clarify. I know we're a hot minute into this, but here we are. All right, addiction, photography, independent on Monday. What is this? Scorpio, you are leading. You are taking the initiative in your life to rewrite your story. Four of Swords, Two of Cups. Trying to heal. Scorpio, it's funny because it's like, I don't think anything insane is happening today, right, per se. But it's also a memory. It's kind of like a widow energy. Like, a widow has to do it on her own at that point, or a widower, right? You're having to do it on your own. You realize maybe mistakes that have been made, things that could have been done differently. Katy Perry's Dark Horse, but there's a white horse in this picture. Queen of Cups. Scorpio, you're pouring into the things that are pouring into you. Take a look at that card. Horses could be important. Horses are also deliverers of news, Scorpio. You could be getting some sort of news. Six of Cups, the past again showing itself. Something from the past could be coming up. Something that could have felt like a blockage to you before. The Empress, Seven of Wands. It's like somebody or something trying to stop your growth and or abundance. There could have been blockages just energetically or karmically tied to you in the past as well. choice of calling, Scorpio, soul contracts, wisdom, reclamation. It's almost like somehow this week you could feel like your heart is being given back to you. The reason that your heart beats is being given back to you. The reason that you feel so much is coming back to you. I've seen 3 crowns here. And actually, yeah, 1, 2, 3. There's been 3. The Empress, she wears her crown. Stars, it always reminds me of the star card. So fulfillment, happiness, hope, inspiration. The Queen of Cups, she wears it masterfully as she has learned how to handle her emotions. She's been a great guide. You could have somebody on the other side right now, Scorpio, as well. Spirit is saying guiding you. Maternal energy, Queen of Cups, nurturing, lovely and abundant, loving. What else, Spirit? Pisces energy here also. Hierophant, traditions, values, 7 of Pentacles. It's like you may know, the feeling of knowing that there's some kind of information coming in pertaining to the heart space. Is something emotional is coming in, Scorpio. And there could be 3 children specifically around this. Doesn't have to be. I've never, honest to God, all these years, I've had the traditional Rider-Waite for I couldn't tell you how long. 30 years, probably, close to it. You look at her cape. It's almost like stained glass. It's blue and white. It's purity, it's truth, it's honesty. It's emotional flow. Something about bows on the sleeves as well. Something about, I don't know, maybe somebody's wearing bows on their sleeves. Some of you could have, some of you could have been using like AI or not AI, well, yeah, AI, but Chat GPT also. Like that's a strange, it's almost robotic. It's almost like having conversations with a robot. Be like talking to Rosie from the Jetsons, right? Which sounds a little strange, but it's also been something that is not traditional. The Hierophant is here, but still, I would say non-traditional rather versus the traditional. Feels Spirit. Oh my God, feels like I'm walking on broken glass. I can't remember who sang that, and I don't remember the words to that song. I can hear the tune. There's something about that too. You could have felt like you were walking on glass or eggshells with somebody in the past when it came to your emotions. And I feel like that's in part what is being released here. There's 3 again. 3s are going to be real significant for you this week, Scorpio. The 3 crosses that the Hierophant bears, the 2 keys, and then he's got 2 on his shoes. I never noticed those either. But it looks like a W at the top of his crown, another crown, right? The win, the victory, the success. You only get to that position. You are the high priest, right? In that position. And there could be a high priest, Scorpio, coming in for you. Because I do feel like this is like some kind of judgment call with the Hierophant here happening as well. The Wheel of Fortune in the reverse to the 10 of Pentacles. It came out upright, fell in the reverse. This Spirit, again, rude awakening, Scorpio. Rude awakening here about something. Why the Wheel of Fortune in reverse? And I know this reading is going to run a little longer, obviously, at this point, but I trust that Spirit's got a precise reason for this. Wheel of Fortune in the reverse, Spirit, what's this about? The letter R could be very, very significant. The Death card, Scorpio, that's why, because the things that didn't work in the World card, you're closing out a major cycle this week, 10 of Pentacles. You're going from a place of lack to a place of abundance. It's transformation. It is endings. It is the end of a phase. It is the rebirth of you, right? This is you literally rubber stamping this and going, I fully recognize how I have triumphed over this period of these addictions and the people that pull me back into it, and somebody who wants to relive those things. Again, this could go back generations. The Emperor and the 3 of Wands, like this, there's a level of reclamation, Scorpio. You are reclaiming the last pieces of yourself. This, as we step into your solar return, right, regardless of when your birthday is, take this message as it comes for you. as we are stepping into your solar return, that really is a time of going, where has life led me? 30:03 on the clock as I look up. Where am I at? What did the last year look like? What did, for me, I'm gonna be 40 this year. I've thought about last 10 years, like, where the hell did this decade take me to? It was crazy. What do I want the next decade to look like, right, for myself, just as an example. And through those painful contracts, right, those things that we were talking about in the beginning of this video, you realize there is a new phase that is here for you. There is a new way of living that is here for you, and you know that something really good is coming in time. And literally, as I'm like, spirits goes, split the deck, Ace of Pentacles, Scorpio, to the 10 of Pentacles that was underlying there with the World card. You built a legacy of some sort in the recent years, maybe months, whatever it might be for you. Taurus energy could be very specific to this. You could have been dealing with a feminine Taurus energy, doesn't have to be, but you've also got Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces here, Scorpio, Taurus, Leo, Aquarius, and Taurus once again. Heavy on the Scorpio, surprise, surprise. But this is, again, like you rubber stamping your own day and saying, I had success despite obstacles over this last cycle. And now I'm leading into, not to say rebuilding, but creating a new level of my 10 of Pentacles. Tentacles. But it's a very interesting energy, Scorpio, and I do like it for you, oddly enough, the way that it's showing up. So a lot of little messages in that. All right, this unfinished business on Tuesday, Scorpio, you're going back over something, the moon. There are things in the past that you did not see. Knight of Swords. I feel like it's kind of very Mars Scorpio energy here. Lit a fire under your behind and says, like, I'm going after this now. Be careful, the star in the reverse. Again, it's like I talked about that star energy with the Empress. That coming out in the reverse is like, again, unfinished business. Things that you felt or feel did not come to fruition the way that you had hoped for them to. The moon, Cancer, Pisces energy, particularly Cancer for me as a reader. I remember saying in the one channel's members video on Friday, like, every dog has their day, and I'm getting that same kind of vibe. Like, were you dealing with dogs? Were you dealing with wolves? What were you dealing with behind the shadows? Like, did you see how people would change up on you or morph on you in certain ways? It's like saying, I'm going to do this, and then they don't, and then they do something else instead. You realize that there are sometimes, when we speak contracts, it's, what do I want to call this? Like, at one point you may have thought of something to be very grand, stellar, exciting, only to realize that somebody else had other intentions, or they were doing things, while it may have seemed to be authentic to some degree from the start, you realize that there are things that were being hidden behind the scenes, or things you didn't know about, obviously, things you don't know. Scorpio, you've gained wisdom since that point, and I would also tell you to go back 6 months as we are upon the Libra new moon. So if you went back, that's Aries season. So that's what? April, May? There were things you didn't know, things that were being obscured. You're ready to go back and clean this up. So what is 7 of Wands? You're going to defend your position. They're going to defend theirs. Someone's going to bear or carry the burden of this situation. Who's this going to be, Spirit? 6 of Wands. You're going to have victory and success over this 6 of Swords. It's almost like someone has to kind of chase you down in some way and say, here, Scorpio, here's what I owe you. Money, time, energy, resources, whatever it might be. But I'm going to say, what's the likely outcome? Page of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles. They're going to have to come in after trying to deceive you and correct something. Or they recognize there is a bigger issue at hand here than they, I don't know, maybe they could have thought they could have got away with something. It reminds me of like somebody stealing money out of your purse and going, you had that schizo cousin at your house over the weekend, and it was only you and that person. So when you're missing $100 bill, you know damn well who did it because you weren't anywhere else. Well, you know, and then they give you some line of bullshit of, well, you know, I was having a hard time and I didn't know how to ask for X, Y, and Z. And it's like, they've been caught. They've been called out. Somebody or something here, Scorpio, is being called out this week for you. You're not tolerant of it. It may press on you, Scorpio, emotionally, but it's also like, I knew that I was right about this. And it's not even about being right in a prideful sense, but just being aware, like that feeling, that knowing, that wisdom that you had said that this I may not have the proof per se yet or back then, but now I know, now I see, you know what I mean? So you're learning something and you're going to be able to move on from that. Runaway. What is this about on Wednesday? For some of you, you've learned that running from your problems is not going to solve them, right? But this is also a sense of completion. You could have been dealing with some harder task the beginning of the week. The World card, the Three of Wands, the King of Cups, Scorpio. It again, a sense of accomplishment here for you in this. Two of Swords is now making some new decisions around what way you go, where you go, who you go with. Eight of Wands, the Magician, and the Ace of Wands, the Devil and the Sun. Scorpio, this week is going to be like, if you were to take a microscope over every single person in your life and you looked at them and you broke down who they are when they're happy, who they are when they're sad, who they are in good times, who they are in bad times, it's almost like your vision of everybody in your life is going to change. And I think that if there's anybody you've put on a pedestal, you're going to take them off the pedestal and look at them and go, they're as human as I am. But who are they at heart? King of Cups, right? Who are they at the heart of their being? Who are they at the core? And it's going to bring you some type of clarity as to who is guarded against you and who is for you. And you may look at your children differently after this week. You may look at your spouse differently after this week. You could look at the people you work with, your friends, maybe your tarot reader, right? Just as an example. But you're going to look at people and realize like the intentions of why they're doing what they're doing. And then that's going to bring you to that choice of calling, this crossroads. Who gets to stay and who gets to go? Where am I going? Eight of Wands, because you're going quick, fast, and in a hurry to something. Your manifestations, by the way, which I messaged earlier. Give those messages to the universe, Scorpio. But it's almost like you see everybody for who they are, and it's like you're dropping into your heart space and going, I get it now. I understand. Even if I, thought that, this person shit rainbows. Maybe they don't, but they're well intended. They're loving. They move forward with the best of intention. Other people, you look at them and you're like, wow, like I really thought a lot of them, and now I kind of see it differently. Not quite the same, right? It could be anybody in your life, Scorpio. It could be a group of people. Okay, so just kind of be aware of that energy as it, Spirit says foils in. Anything else on this? A lot. Seven of Cups. Again, that confusion. Nine of Wands. It could make you feel a little, I told you, it's like by Wednesday you're tired, you're exhausted kind of feeling. That it's like I just need a break from the illusion, the confusion, things I may not completely understand. It's kind of like you see somebody or something for what it truly is. It could leave you in a state of illusion, confusion. I said you could have put this person on a pedestal. Seven of Cups is fantasy, right? Something you didn't want to see, but now you're going to have to see it whether you want to or not. And it's really patience. This is going to work out to your benefit, Scorpio. You just needed to really see why somebody was kind of hanging around, okay? On Thursday, this Law card, Torment, what rolls out on it as I was shuffling for the other day, that card fell out on Wednesday. This card fell out on Thursday. Scorpio, Ace of Wands. You are inspired to take some action against, I'm hearing against something. It's when we talk about the justice scales and that Nine of Wands being at the bottom of the deck, it's almost like Scorpio is lightening the load. This is how I'm seeing this via Spirit. You have this one Ace of Wands, very light. The Nine of Wands has a lot more weight to it. The scales are tipping. It's time that development is happening for you rather than against you. 40:04 on the clock. This is a beginning. I feel like you're going to get inspired with news and information. King of Swords, you could be dealing with a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. I see the King of Swords oftentimes as Libra energy. And as I say this to you as well, I talked about lawyers, doctors, people of articulative manners, or, wise, witty, planners, organizers, right? King of Swords. Professional, ethical. I talked about ethics. You need to be ethical in anything that you do. Somebody wasn't here, Scorpio. I have no doubt about that. And Spirit is adamant it was not you. There are 4 of Cups. Somebody is not happy with the options that they have been left with as a result of their actions. I think at some point, whomever this is, had the world by the ass, truth be told. They had a position of power and or authority, or they were able to at least try to meet on a mindful level with you, meeting of the minds, right, to make fair things happen. They chose not to. Again, it's like everything's been turned back around on them, okay? And what you're offering for whatever this situation might be, it's not good enough. 10 of Swords, I'm telling you, they put the sword in their own back. So again, air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, they put the sword in their own back. They, and Scorpio, brutal ending. And I don't think that you are whipping out that stinger and locking it up and loading it and ready to fire. This is just karmic balance being restored. This is, you play with the bull, you get the horns kind of thing. Gemini energy here with that 10 of Swords. But it is going to rectify. There could be control issues at hand, some power struggles, conflict around this. It's like they're grasping for some sort of straws, because this is the pinnacle of change. The 10 of Swords, there's no swords left to be had. Everyone has been struck down, pinned down. There's nothing left to have. Again, it's you not forgetting the backstabbing, the lack of integrity, the hatred, the misfortune, where you've been, what you've gone through, the jealousy, the verbal attacks, whatever it might have been. And you're just like, you can take your shitty offer and stick it. It's like, no more, not here. What else on this? The 10 of Swords in the reverse this time. Scorpio, for you, it's funny, the 8 of Wands. What are the odds? Heavy, heavy, heavy Gemini energy. It's kind of like water off your back, Scorpio. It's like water off a duck's back. You might be in such a good place. Did you take this personally at some point? Yes, you did. But now it's more about the facts than it is on a personal level. Like, you think of backstabbing, it's emotionally hurtful, right? But I said, it's like the energy has changed. You're up here, they're down there. And, the 10 of Swords in reverse, we could say, is things not coming to an end, the suffering continues, right? That kind of thing. But to me, this is also about the recovery. You've recovered past this. You've not let 10 swords be placed in your back to the point that you are so down and out that you will never get back up. When I seen this 10 of swords come out like this, Spirit gave me this vision of the swords just kind of falling. Like, the swords are heavy, so if they're stuck, I don't know, we'll just say in a ceiling, eventually gravity will make those things fall, right? And that's kind of how I feel. It's like, over time, Scorpio, the swords have fallen on their own, out of your back, and during that period of time, you have been healing. this person is finally, I hate to say it that way, but finally getting a dose of their own medicine. What else on this, Spirit, for Scorpio? Tens and ones. And there comes, as I say that, there comes the Fool, which is 0, basically, right? Not infinity, but the karmic loop, right? That's what I call it. Scorpio, couldn't fucking make it up if I wanted to. The Fool, and what underlines that is the Justice. You are starting over, and when I say starting over, it is a whole new approach. There goes the train. You are driving. Thank you, Scorpio. You are driving that train. You are driving that train at full speed ahead. That 8 of Wands. And you're like, I'm good. You were careless. You were reckless. You were in a position of power. You were in a position of authority. And you abused that position. You abused your position in my life. Whatever it might be. Whether this is legal, personal, whatever. But it's like, Scorpio, you are no longer taking these things personally. And if that is where you are, kudos to you, because one of the 4 agreements is don't take things personally. For so long as you are taking things personally, you will never heal. You will never ever heal in that space. And this Justice goes right along with the Law. I mean, you literally got the 10 of Swords twice, the Justice card basically twice, the King of Swords, smack dab in the middle of all of this. And Scorpio, there you are with the Ace of Wands and the Fool card. And then the Knight of Pentacles comes in and is, like I said about the 8 of Swords, look what sits right there with that. It's like you've given this person every opportunity from the past to do something different. 6 of Cups, 5 of Pentacles, 3 of Swords, 2 of Pentacles. They had choices. They juggled you with another situation. This doesn't have to be third party romantic, but this is like, I'll use Scorpio up when Scorpio benefits me, not when I need, like, or when Scorpio needs me, right? Like it's somebody really trying to kind of be very cunning against you, only to their detriment. That 4 of Cups, 7 of Swords. All they had to do was play nice. All they ever had to do was be nice. And I could say to you, cross watcher, or flip the roles as it applies, whatever. What version of Scorpio you get depends on who you show up as. It's real simple. It's really not hard. Anytime you go to act or say or do something to Scorpio, if the shoe was on the other foot, would you be happy with the results of that? Because if not, then I wouldn't do it. Plain and simple. Okay? All right. And on Friday, Scorpio, see, in this sorry, like someone is eating some crow. Somebody is eating some crow here. And it goes back, 5 of Swords. I don't think that Scorpio, holy shit. That 5 of Swords flew out and went back to Thursday, so we're going to go back to Thursday for a second. It landed right on it. The 5 of Swords, the 10 of Cups, the Tower. The grass isn't always greener on the other side. Not for you, but for this person. And they could feel like they're the most hated person. Like, I almost kind of feel like everybody in their life, they were going from the 6 of Cups to the 9 of Cups, very high horse on their throne, to the Tower, to the 10 of Cups. Their happiness, 5 of Swords, is being ripped away from them. Whatever they thought was good, whatever they thought was bold, whatever they thought was the thing to do while they're sitting there making jokes, it's like, it's kind of like a manipulative magician in the worst case scenario. I'm gonna go over here and run these tricks in these games. And while they think they're being clever, they don't realize the people that they're dealing with, or maybe their assistant is playing a trick on them. They've been fooled. The Fool. They've been fooled. They've had their sights set on you, not realizing that somebody in their energy was doing the same thing to them in some way that they had been doing to you this entire time. A little taste, again, of their own medicine. On Friday, Spirit, thank you. The Sun and the Devil come out again, side by side. The Death card, Scorpio. You are here more times than not. That divine timing in the reverse says to me, when I talked about fate in the beginning, destiny, The sun is, I see clearly now, right? Like, I see clearly now, the rain is gone. All the obstacles that were in your way. The devil. Twice on this read. Scorpio, it's almost like on a soul level, you've gone back in time and collected the devils of your life. And it says, for my Scorpio season, I just want all these devils to kind of be like on their own island. Let them all have each other. Scorpio, it's like you're delivering, or by their choices, they have delivered themselves unto the devil. They've ultimately made their decisions. And now there's consequences. There's a spirit is saying there's a price tag for that. So, Scorpio, do I think that you're coming out like king of all kings? Not necessarily. But what you're coming out as karmically is that the way that you have carried yourself on your horse, on your throne, that horse, that white horse again, Scorpio, you could have been dealing with a lot of dark horses. The way you've carried yourself poised, battled, covered for battle, ready for battle if you need to. It didn't matter what they were going to give you. If it didn't match your integrity, you were going to keep going. You would walk over people that tried to throw themselves in your path. Like, you just kept your head up and you kept going. Your birthday, this isn't just this week, I'll tell you that. Your birthday season. And P.S., we started it off with the sun coming up in the background of the death card. We're closing it out with the sun in full force. You had to go through the moon. You had to go through the world. You had to go through the justice of it to get to the sun. The devil. You could be dealing with the Capricorn, doesn't have to be. Heavy air sign energy, though. You're going to know where to make adjustments, but Scorpio, it is literally like you are delivering the spawns of the devil back to the devil himself. It is unlike anything. I see you. And if you remember a couple months ago, I did that one read for you and I said, Scorpio, it's like you're playing Candyland or something. You're taking, or like running a marathon. They have the drink stations and the refuel stations for people who are running, make sure their blood sugar levels and stuff are staying consistent. It's like you're going to go to the first stand and get that bottle of water and you're going to chug it while you're running. And you go, 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 go. And you get to the next stand and you drop that bottle of water off. The bottle's empty. You throw it in the garbage. You pick up a banana and you keep on going. It was like you were dropping things off and picking things up all along the way. Scorpio, I kind of feel like this has that reading. I can't remember what it was called. But it's been a couple months ago. That's part of this still. And I remember bringing that up a couple of times now. That reading sticks out to me heavily. That could have been July, August maybe. I think July. But it feels like there's something about that in the spirit. Yeah, probably July. There's the sun. So that's Leo energy. So maybe in Leo season I put that reading out. There's something about that now that's coming to a culmination, even though it's not been a full 6 months. I feel like Spirit is saying, and thank you, Spirit, that when that 6 months finally closes out, so Leo to, is it Aquarius? Right? Or am I missing somebody? Hold on. Leo, where's my, yeah, Aquarius. So by Aquarius, full moon. No, Leo, full moon. Thank you, Spirit. Leo, full moon, Jesus. The actual awareness to how significant that picking up and putting down has been is going to be in full plain view for you. If you don't journal, start journaling. If nothing else, catch these last X amount of months and you'll see the difference, okay? Anything else on this sun and the devil? Anything else on this sun and the devil? They didn't, I just heard Spirit. They didn't realize you too had tricks up your sleeve. You come in with a poker face. You don't say a whole lot. You don't do a whole lot. But you know how to stand your ground. And maybe that entire time you were just kind of letting people juggle, do what they do. Look at this. The Six of Wands. Look at this shit. Ah, Scorpio. Holy Mother Teresa. Back on Tuesday, that unfinished business. Look at these cards. The Seven of Wands, the Six of Wands, the Six of Swords. Look at this. Comes out on Friday. Back to back to back to back with the Two of Pentacles. Seven of Wands, the Six of Wands, the Six of Swords. Same sequence. Here. It was like this. 766 could be important. You could have been born in 76 or 67. But look at that. Two separate decks, guys. Two separate decks. What sits behind that, Scorpio? The Four of Wands. After the Five of Pentacles. Somebody's coming in and offering you some sort of greatness, Scorpio. And you've defended yourself so well. Three of Swords to the Four of Swords. You took the heartbreak, you took the punches, you took the beatings. You didn't let it stop you, though. Why the Three of Swords? Back to third. I ask, what about the Three of Swords? Why the Three of Swords? The Nine of Swords comes out sideways. Falls. Do you want to see? Here. Falls. Right there on Thursday. Alright. I got the camera all fudged up. Goes back to that. The period of time when you were in worry and strife. It has turned. It has shifted. The worry, the stress, the strife, Scorpio. Your season is powerful, right? We know this. You're Scorpio. Of course it is. But it's like it's being reversed. So why? So you can move forward in life. The Chariot and the Page of Cups. Somebody and or something, if not both, are waiting on the other side of this. They've been waiting on you. They've been waiting for you. Whether they knew it or not, it was like they were waiting for you to clean some things up. They maybe just not have felt like certain time, like, excuse me, certain, like, you know, you get your intuitive, not just like, yeah, I should do that, or no, I shouldn't right now. This person kind of kept stalling, maybe. Four Cups kind of just sitting there going, not yet, not yet, not yet. But something about the energy shifts that says this is the green light. I can go. I can give whatever this is to Scorpio now. Nine of Wands, High Priestess. Whatever you're going towards, Scorpio, is coming towards you. In spirit, thank you. I got the chills the best possible way. Anything else for Scorpio? Three of Cups, King of Pentacles. Scorpio, I said it in the fixed signs read for you. If you haven't watched it, I encourage you to do that. It was a very important video. I was surprised how great it came out. The Three of Cups and the King of Pentacles, Scorpio. Stability. You will celebrate your stability. And you're going to see your stability just increase. It's changing rapidly. It truly is. It may feel like it's taking a while, but it is changing rapidly. Any other advice here for Scorpio this week, Spirit? Back on Thursday. Listen, I said it before, you and Thursdays, Scorpio the liar, be careful, someone's sneaky. It's everything that is as negative as it could be, is on Thursday. I don't know why. But that liar fell out on the Five of Swords. Pets. This to me, though, Scorpio, is like, the first thing I saw was a snake. And I've told you guys before, I don't like snakes. We might be Scorpios and rebirth and all that shit, and snake shedding its skin, but I don't like snakes. They're not my cup of tea. I think they're sneaky as fuck. You think about people that own snakes that will let them wrap themselves around their arms, and I think most of them are pretty chill, right? But if that's got to be your thing, I guess. But like a boa constrictor, at any point, they could squeeze. At any point, they can turn around and strike. You've learned your lesson. That this person might show up in good face. They might appear really lovely to the rest of the world. They might have a lot of charm and charisma to them. But you've seen something in this person that says even on their nicest of days, they could strike. You see through the liar. You see through the illusion. And you're not going to do that again. It's not for you. Anything else for Scorpio? Intimacy. Guardian. Scorpio, you're angelic right now. You're angelic. Careful with who you let in your circle. Oh, I want to clarify this. Hold on. Got intimacy and guardian. You're being protected from somebody who's trying to wreak havoc on your heart, wreak havoc on your money. Who is this gold digger? How does Scorpio know who it is? Hangman, Pisces, Libra energy. I'm going to take those two particular signs. Ace of Cups. They want some type of renewal with you, Scorpio. Some of them could be getting ready to go through a divorce. They could be having a health crisis. What is the fire sign about here, Spirit? Six of Pentacles. You've got someone or something, could be a fire sign. Four of Swords, Six of Pentacles. That you're not sure because of some of this past stuff. How do I explain? Hold on, boy, this is taking a minute now. I feel like this gold digger energy is tied to that Libra, Pisces energy, Gemini. Gemini, Aquarius, Libra, and Pisces. Doesn't have to be, right? But just those are the prominent factors here. They're likely going through some health and or divorce issues. You most likely have a fire sign coming in for you. They may also have air placements, so you're going to have to be very discerning using that wisdom. They've had to work. It's almost like these two people could mirror each other. I don't want to say mirror, but kind of remind you of each other in some strange way. But the difference is somebody has worked on themselves and evolved, and somebody else has not. So it's like they're trying to protect you, but there's worry about how they do that. They could feel like there's the third party, which could be the person that you're dealing with. So this, again, doesn't have to be love. It could be work or whatever. This might be family. And I think that scares them. Like, would you let that person or that situation come back into the equation that could ultimately mess things up? Scorpio, you won't. But I feel like as you lean into that support, that intimacy of, again, it doesn't have to be sexual. It's chemistry, right? You work well with somebody. And you trust them, and they trust you. As you lean into that, you are protected. And they realize that it's safe. So I said, it's like once they got the green light, right? It's coming. Like whatever this is, it's coming. They're just afraid that whatever's going on could affect your decision making. I don't think that it does. I think if anything, you realize how vitally important and different this situation is versus someone who's evolved and grown and matured versus somebody who hasn't. And it's like, I will not repeat that mistake again. Scorpio, you have rounded up the devils in your life and you're returning them. You see the peace, you see the angelic parts of life now. It's not completely done, but you see clearly. Scorpio, long video. I'm leaving it there. I'm sending you all so much love. I hope you have a fantastic week. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Personal reads are open and available. That info is found in the description box below. Sending you so much love. Take care. See you soon. Bye.